What's up, what's up, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Joaquin Loper. And as always, I got this thing right here with me. Y'all need to get y'all one of these right here. Try to get you one of these. A wife, that is. My beautiful wife, Stacy Loper.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, we are blended and winning.
And so are you.
And look, we coming to you all today quickly, very quickly. And we're really pressing in on marriages for the this year, especially the first part of the year. And we want to come to you all this morning and talk about the subject of submission. What does submission look like to you? Not to the marriage. What does submission look like to you from the husband standpoint, from the wife standpoint? Where did you get your viewpoint of submission from? Do you understand truly what submission means? Especially from if you're going to do it in a godly sense.
Right.
Which is the right way to do it in a marriage. So, man, ask yourself that question. What does submission look like to you? Because I can honestly say 11 years in and coming from the background that I came from, coming from a broken marriage, I really didn't know what submission looked like. I truly did not.
I mean, and I didn't either, so.
Yeah, she didn't either. So, but it was a great thing because we actually had to learn together. Not such a great thing because of our ignorance and our lack of knowledge in the area of submission, the things that it brought, the friction that it brought between us in marriage at first. And we just had to we came to a realization once we were building our marriage back up that we're in this for the same goal. We're in this for the same number one goal, and that's to have a happy marriage, happy family, happy life. So submission, you have to take the word and the notion of competition out of the issue of submission, because it's not a competition. I'm not competing with my wife on to be better than her. I'm competing with myself every day to be a better husband than I was yesterday. And in submission, you have to understand that when my wife is trying to correct me or help me being better in the area, she's not trying to belittle me or critique me. And if she is critiquing you, allow her to critique you in a way that is building you up.
Absolutely.
And one thing I'll really have to work on, well, not work on my wife, but get her to understand that, when you're talking to your husband or talking to people, you can't, you really just can't tear that man down with your words. Knowingly or unknowingly. Submission. Do I do a good job at submitting now?
Sure, you do. Yeah, you do.
But you said it like, you do.
I mean, I don't think we ever really had an issue with it. You came into the relationship with issues of control as far as how you presented yourself to the kids, but with me, it was totally different. So
How so?
it wasn't. What do you mean, how so?
How was it totally different with you?
First of all, I'm an adult, so it didn't. Seriously, it was like, okay, I'm not a child, so you don't have to assert yourself with me. I know that you are a man, okay? I don't have to teach you how to be one. You don't have to go back and learn how to be one because, you were probably a mama's boy and, you ran to mama for everything. No, you were well established in your own independence that with me, you didn't have to. I was already a single mom. I was already a woman that had a career. So, no, I didn't have that issue of submission to you. I knew what position you played in my life and vice versa. You knew what position I played in your life. I think the power struggle might have come in with us blending the family and our differences in the way we disciplined, our differences in communication, our differences in, I think hierarchy, when I talk about, being united as one.
Okay.
United front and not a great divide. So.
True. But in that role, in the definition of submission, we did have issues with submission because sometimes even though I would say some things or given direction for the family, you will come in and try to say, well, no, we're doing this. And I'd be like, no, we're not.
Did we have that problem?
Yes.
We did? Okay. Well,
It's-
you know.
and it's very funny that she doesn't remember that.
It's been corrected because I don't remember that. I don't.
Mm.
So.
And that caused a lot of friction because, and naturally so, when you're coming from a single mother standpoint, and I'm coming from
just being a single man. So, I mean, I think that motherly nature rose up in me because of the way I disciplined them, because of the way my kids were already being reared.
Well,
and then you come in, and I get it.
Yes.
I get it that I do. I think I needed to take a step back and realize that if we were going to do this thing, that we were going to do this thing together.
Yes.
And that's why I say, I think the differences came in our discipline, in the way we communicated, and things of that nature. And I think I was being so protective because of the way you communicated your directive.
Yes. And my tone.
In your tone, exactly. Yeah. I think that's what might have caused me to step up, and that mother bear rose up in me. So I think that's where it was. But yes, it did cause friction. Yeah. You know, in the marriage.
And even in the way the house was ran, because you were so used to doing certain things.
I was so used to doing it my way as a single mom and raising my own kids.
And I too was so used to doing certain things my way, being single. And I didn't understand how certain things had to go with kids. So there was a lot of pieces of the puzzle moving around that we had to figure out where they went. Because one thing I wasn't budging as a man, and she wasn't budging as a mother.
Right, not as a woman, but as a mother.
As a mother. The times we did have issues with, my wife trying to call me out. Well, not call me out, just slickly redirect what I was trying to do. There was how can I say? She really, I do have to give my wife credit. She got the notion of submission way quicker than I did. Certain times. Way quicker than I did. And my submission had to come in to understanding that my wife wasn't trying to run me. She wasn't trying to control me. She wasn't trying to fix me. My wife was truly trying to build me. And until I got that, until I understood why she would correct me in certain areas when I was saying certain things, or I want to wear certain things in certain meetings, she was like, no, you do this. And I'm like, I'm a grown man. Like we just said, I'm a grown man, I can wear this. Yeah, but a grown man doesn't wear that to the kind of meeting you're going to. And then I would sit there like, okay.
Or, as correcting and bringing into awareness his tone with his children.
Yes.
That was huge for us when you talk about
big.
Submission, and when you talk about raising a family and coming into a blended family. His tone with his kids, especially being that he has girls now. And then the tone that he's going to use with his boys is going to be totally different than the tone he uses with his girls. The way he disciplined one child will not be the way that he needs to discipline another child.
That is so
because
true.
they don't respond in the same manner with the same type of discipline. So it was those things when you talk about submitting, to your husband and to your wife. Ephesians 5, verse 21 through I think 27 is a great passage to build your submission upon, because it talks about not just the woman submitting to her husband, but it also talks about how the man submits to his wife. And I think a lot of point of views, especially from a woman's point of view, and sometimes even a man, if I might say so myself, they look at that one verse that says the wife submit to your husband. Yes. And it goes well beyond that.
You have to read the whole chapter.
You
just
have
can't read
to
that
read
one
it.
verse.
Yes. Yeah. And then the book of Colossians is a great book. That's one of my favorite books of the Bible. To read Colossians, because Colossians sets out the tone of the family, the marriage, life, your friendships. It sets out the tone for all of that in Colossians. And just the way you speak to people and how your words flow and things like that. It's Colossians is a great book. I love that. One of my favorite books of the Bible is Colossians. So
and to speak on that, if you're not reading books and reading the Bible or reading things with your spouse and understanding where their viewpoint comes from and how they see things,
Yeah.
it's always going to be some gray area in there. Read those books with them, read those passages with her, and explain to them what it means to you and why. And they'll start understanding, okay, this is why he looks at things the way he looks at things.
Or she.
This is why she looks at things the way she looks at things. So now when I say this, I understand we're on the same path. We're just going at it a totally different way. So sometimes the communication breakdown is we're saying the same things, but we're just going a different way about getting there.
Yeah.
I can't force my ways on her. She can't force them on me, but we're going in the same direction.
And we have to come together and get on the same path, you know, at the same mile marker. I mean, we have to get there, and you have to do the same in your marriages. You have to get on the same mile marker, on the same path, because you're trying to get to the same goal.
Yeah.
Because if you're on the same path, but you're at different mile markers, you're really seeing things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
You are, because he may be farther ahead than you, and she may be so far back that she hadn't even caught up to see all the things that you've already, you know, been privy to. So you definitely have to be at the same mile marker. And, you know, we've traveled on that same path, even though we were going in, I think I was moving a little faster than him, and sometimes he was moving a little faster than me, and we just couldn't see it. So when we got at the same mile marker, going at the same speed with each other, you know, really getting to that next phase at the same time, it was so much more smoother.
So much more smoother. And now we're at the same mile marker, or we're at the museum looking at that picture when you have to look real hard to make sure you see the picture. And she can tell me, just move this way a little bit. There it is. Boom. So we're there now. Now we're looking at the same picture. Sometimes I may have some things on my mind that has the picture a little blurry, and she clears it up for me. Vice versa.
Yeah.
And to go back to what my wife said about my tone with the kids, I really wanted to press on the fact that you truly have to be aware of the household you come from, the family you come from, the structure you come from, and make sure you don't implement that, especially the bad things, into your marriage. Because one thing we're going to press on this year is to make your marriage your marriage.
Yeah, the marriage you want it to be.
Not your family's marriage, not her family's marriage, your marriage, your traditions. Because I saw discipline the same way all the way around. There's no, you get this discipline, I'm whooping everything. Or I'm disciplining everything the same way.
Everybody.
Yes, and my wife had to work on me and work on me and work on me, and it took a while. But when the light came on, I was like, oh, wow. Wow, that really works.
And it was about implementing it into his habit, into his everyday life, that he began to see that there was a true difference. I mean, like him, I was raised to where discipline was across the board. If one person got in trouble, everybody got in trouble. If somebody messed up and made a mistake, everybody suffered the consequences behind it. And I made a vow to myself at a very young age that if I did have a family, I would not raise my family like that, because it's not fair. It's just not fair. And there has to be balance in the household, or there becomes chaos. And so there has to be balance in the way you discipline your kids, and the way you handle your marriage, the way you speak to your spouse. And I mean, all of that plays a huge part in a healthy, successful, and happy marriage.
Yeah.
It really does.
And you have to truly be aware of, especially when kids are involved, how the things play out in front of them. Because kids are watching. They are truly watching. And my wife had to really direct me on those things in the beginning, because sometimes we would have conversations in front of the kids that we should not have. There would be escalating of the voice in front of the kids when they should not have been. And for whatever reason, my girls always thought my wife won. They always thought that she won the argument.
They know their mom.
And I'm like, no, I didn't. She just talked a little longer. I just got my point across and just listened.
Oh, whatever.
So look, we want to come to you all briefly today just to say, have a great day. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
Absolutely.
Make your marriage great or not, the choice is yours. And just be encouraged. But we're truly going to press on you all this year just to be a better you, to make your marriage a better marriage.
Yep.
And it starts with you as an individual.
As an individual, yeah.
Yes, it's not, we can't say what she needs to change this, he needs to change that. No. What do you need to change to make her better? What does she need to change to make him better? Coming from a wife's perspective.
Because it does. Once you begin to change, and I take this back 9 years with me, is when I began to change, that's when I began to see everything and everyone around me change. So it starts with you, and it starts from the inside out.
Yeah.
Because people, we got some stuff inside of us that just don't belong. Okay, it just does not belong there, and God doesn't want it there either. But when you start working on you and you work from the inside out, you will begin to see your entire the trajectory of your life just completely change.
Yeah.
And it just takes for you to make that first step in committing to you to change you first. So.
And it's something about a marriage. We've talked to several couples, and a marriage is going to bring out and uncover things in your life that you haven't thought of, you haven't seen, it hasn't reared its head in years, you didn't even know may have been there.
Yeah.
Man, marriage is something that brings uncover scales that, it's going to expose weaknesses in you as a person. And it also exposes your strengths as well. But your strengths, your strengths can't be so overbearing that you try to mask your weaknesses with your strength. That makes you look weak.
Yeah, because it's eventually going to show itself.
Yeah.
So
look, man, blended and winning. We having a great day here. As always, my beautiful wife, Stacy.
We love you all. We love you with the love of Christ. You all have a marvelous day, a marvelous week. As we come to you, remember, read Ephesians 5.
Yes.
Ephesians 5, starting with verse 21, and read throughout the rest of the chapter, the entire chapter, you think?
Read the entire chapter, but really focus on that part where it talks about the family and the structure and husband and wife. But read the entire chapter. And like my wife said, we read Colossians together. And it truly brought a revelations to us about how we see things and understanding the Bible, how we read the Bible. Because when you read the Bible, there has to be a relationship there. I can't read the Bible and get her understanding for it. I have to read it for myself and get my understanding for it.
Study to show yourself approved.
That's what it says. So look, blended and winning, we're out. Talk to you later. My name is Joaquin Loper. And as always, I'm telling you, men, get yourself one of these. It's a trip.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.